Hi, Linda.
Hey.
So Linda is the founder of Dragonfly, and we'll get into what kind of got you started. I met Linda 4 years ago now in Rigby, Idaho, where I moved to, and I've been very grateful for all of her talents and her friendship. And we're going to try to get into a little bit of how Linda came about with the Dragonfly, and I'd like to start with, if you're okay with, what led you to trying to help people that have PTSD, because that was one of the launching points that brought you to Dragonfly. If you're willing to get into that story right off the bat of how did you come about helping people with PTSD?
My oldest son, stepson, actually, went to Iraq. And
so this has been 20, he went there in 2000?
Yeah, I don't remember what year he went.
Fine.
I could probably figure it out. But
That's
anyway,
okay.
He went to Iraq and served a tour there. But when he came home, he just wasn't him anymore. And he had turned to alcohol, and eventually he committed suicide. And that was hard, and it was hard for all of us. No parent should ever bury a child.
Yes.
But watching his children grow up without him, I decided I needed to find a way that no other child would have to bury their father that way. And as I was going through, I had a scanner. The same company that has my scanner also had this theta bed, and they had shown it at one of the conferences. And I had been intrigued with it for at least a year. And then they called and said, we have a center in Idaho Falls that is for sale.
Which was this building here?
It was not this building. It was a different location.
Okay, gotcha.
And they asked if I would be willing to take it if I wanted to buy it. And I thought about it for a little bit and called my sister and said, I really think we should do this. Then I practiced for a whole month on all of my friends, like Katie said, and discovered that it did more than I thought it would do. That I was watching a miracle a day, that people were coming in with PTSD and they were leaving with their life. Same thing with drug addiction, same thing with the debilitating anxiety that people get.
Right.
That they can't go into Walmart. I had a mom in here that could not go to parent-teacher conference because the gym was so crowded. She had never been to a parent-teacher conference. She had never been to a lot of the things that her kids would do. Plays, band concerts. She never could go to any of them because that debilitating anxiety. She called me on day 12 and said, I went to parent-teacher conference. And she called me a month later and said, I've been to band concerts, I have been to plays, I've been to everything my kids are doing, and it is so wonderful.
That's delightful. So when your grandchildren, is that correct? Yeah. When your grandchildren of your son, were their experiences, have they come in? Have you treated them?
They have not come in.
Okay. And so this beginning, this driving force that was behind you, you know that there are people that have the opportunity to heal at a different level, and they needed a place to come because a lot of people just didn't know how to deal with what they had, or they didn't even know how to put a name to it. And so as you've come to understand PTSD, can you describe what you see, what you look for, how you counsel them through when they're here? How do you explain the theta? How do you explain the Dragonfly Wellness Center? Tell me how you explain to them what this is going to do for them. Because this is important content for those who are wondering what Dragonfly is about.
Right. So when they come in, we give them a tour of the building and we show them how it works. I've got some before and after pictures that I show them of people that have come in. And we've got a little bit of science that I can show them a lot more if they want to dig in that deep.
Yeah, they get buried in it. She gave me a pamphlet a while back and I read through it, and there is a lot of data supporting the oxygen chambers, the theta, the oxygenated water, the things, the scanner, reading the blood types. I mean,
there's a lot of data in there.
It's so much that it overwhelms them. And this is why we want to address it from this perspective, so they realize that there's real evidence from real witnesses of real change. And so keep going. I didn't mean to interrupt you. I'm just saying there is tons of data, but I've studied data my whole life, and sometimes I want to see results, and that's what we're here today is talking about, the results that you're seeing.
So that's what I start out with first, is the results, because we get over 90% of the people that come in leave with their life back. The ones that come in that don't, didn't really try very hard and didn't do what they were asked when they were in here.
Right.
They didn't follow through. Especially addiction is the one that does it the most, because they're
pulled back into that cycle so quick.
Right.
Yep.
Those are the ones that don't make it. But somebody that comes in that really truly wants to get well, they get well. We also use hypnotherapy with ours, and we'll talk about that one in a little while, but the hypnotherapy is a key element in helping them making new choices along the way, because so much of what they do is a habit that we can break the way they think. We can set them on a new path.
Right. I have one of my degrees is therapeutic recreation, and we used to use metaphors and stories when I worked with Anasazi and Badger Creek over there in Victor. Getting past people's barricades and walls that they put up, what they call the conscious and the subconscious. I know that this works because I have, and as a seminary teacher even, if I'm telling this kid here a story about someone else, they can get the principle. But if I tell them they have an opportunity to repent or change or overcome something, whatever, if I'm in a religious context or a non-religious context, when you come at somebody, the wall comes up. And that's what you're saying. These addiction cycles, if they don't know you're coming for them and not at them.
Right.
And so what Doug does, and we'll get to, like you said, some of the things that you do can take down those walls, which is a start. Now they're aware and they're open, right? Is that what you meant?
The other thing, it is. And the other thing that we do that is different than a lot of other places is I can do a scan and we nutritionally balance the body, because I don't care.
Yeah, huge.
What I can put them in a theta bed, we can do a lot of therapies, but if they are not balanced on vitamins and minerals and nutritionally balanced, they're not going to heal near as fast as if we balance. So we balance, it's all about balance. We balance the brain, we balance the nutrition, we just balance the body in every possible way we can, and people heal.
And that, I think, is one of the things I've learned from you that's really changed some of the context of the way I view the world. And my mother died from cancer. I had grandparents that were sick, and I understand that these things are real. I have uncles that have PTSD and friends that came back from Iraq. And I know that vitamins and minerals and the things that happen, all the different medicines out in the world, it's the body that heals itself ultimately. And this is one of the things I've loved the most about you, is that this isn't just one silver bullet. If you take this, you're all done. If you only do that, you're all done. You're talking about balance and creating a whole life change from any angle that's needed. Now that really is, to me, some have been the greatest authenticity from you, is that you're not about the person taking their money at all, ever. You have given and given and given. It's almost become this life mission work that you're doing. And to me, it qualifies you beyond your capacity. But I also see the fact that people come in and you don't just say, do this and you're done. You say, let's work with everything. I've seen you coach people. You've coached me and my wife and my children. And with 22 Cavalry, there are people that are going to need us to be able to come from different angles. And to me, that's one of the greatest strengths that not only you, but obviously your team, who we've been talking to, has, is to provide a life-changing institute. So tell me, just briefly, Dragonfly, where did that come from?
I actually was just trying to find something that meant change, that didn't make it sound like I was from any other group in the world, good or bad. I just wanted to be me. So I typed into the computer, what means change, and Dragonfly came up.
It is the Dragonfly.
And as we started playing with it, Dragonfly Out was the next one that came up, and it was just done. So it's Dragonfly Wellness, Dragonfly Out.
Yes, I love that. I mean, to me, we actually had thousands of dragonflies on the farm the other day up here in Rigby. And my kids were studying it. We had 400 or 500 on their little dog dish. And we looked it up, and it means it's the sign of change. It's the zodiac sign of change over there in Asia.
Right.
So I love that. Let's get back into the details a little bit about your son and the changes that you want to see happen in people. So tell me what you want to accomplish here. What is your goals and your vision?
My goal is to see families stay together, that husband and wife can heal together and heal their families. I think divorce is rampant. I think people are not able, when they're ill in whatever part of their body, to be able to make the decision to stay together, to be able to do what it takes to keep a marriage together. And I think our children are better off with their parents. And if I can keep a family together and heal both husband and wife and family, then I was a success.
Yeah. This is the real driving force behind a mother
That is.
and a grandmother who will do whatever it takes to help people be happy and families to be whole and healed.
Right.
Man, I'm grateful that you're stepping up. Really, it's an amazing thing. I cannot wait to get veterans and anybody who has PTSD. If any, and it comes in all forms, but there are so many veterans. I remember meeting with the founder of 22 Cavalry years ago, and he was sharing data with me about 22 veterans per day in America was the best estimated average that were taking their lives.
Yeah.
And it didn't just break my heart. Like you said, I knew that there were mothers and children on the backside of those events, and fathers and families. And change and healing is something that we all want to support, but we have to stop always treating and only treating the symptoms, not to discredit our fellow doctors and lawyers and everybody that we love that are involved in those issues of death. So I'm grateful the Dragonfly is here. What else do you have?
Well, if you get
Tell
on
me.
I get on Facebook now and then and look at his page, and I see my grandchildren telling him, "Hey, Dad, I graduated today."
Yeah.
They miss him. He just got his first granddaughter, and she was in tears. She's excited about the baby. She's in tears that her dad's not there to see her.
Right.
Those are the things that I want to stop for the next family. And I know that I have. We had a wounded warrior walk in here one day, just out of the blue. He said, "I saw your sign. I heard your radio ad." He
Great.
said, "I just shot up all the Suboxone that I have. I'm out. I'm in pain. I can't do this anymore.
Need
It's
help."
destroying my family. It's destroying me. What can I do?" And we just put him in. And I just said, we start right now. Do you have time to start today? We put him through. And he's been one of our favorites. He was wounded twice. His PTSD was so bad he could not sleep at night where any of his family could ever come around because he would hurt them.
Right. These are common themes.
It's a common theme. His marriage was in trouble. His kids were afraid of him sometimes.
Yeah.
And he came in, and in 2 weeks, he came in and was like, "Linda, I can sleep in the same room as my wife. I can be around my kids." And by the end of the 28 days, he had put his life back together as much as he possibly could at the time. Now, he still lived with chronic pain, and he went back to the VA for some of the pain and to fix his body. He drove over a landmine, and he is going to have physical problems. But the head was cleared of the PTSD. We were able to get past that part so that he could move on.
Yeah.
And be able to heal his body and care about healing his body.
That is a miracle. You cannot put a price tag on the value
No.
of restoring someone back to, now I can function, now I can rebuild my life, my family, I can become me again.
Right.
You're giving them their lives back. That's
We've had
amazing.
veterans in here that have been married for 25, 30 years that have fought all of that with their
Yeah.
family, that have felt like they can't be safe if they fall asleep, or they never know what the night terrors are, they never know what the nightmares
Yeah.
or what is going to be going on. We get that all the time in here. And I have not seen one of them walk out of here that wasn't fixed, and that they didn't start putting their family back together again.
That's what we need. That's what we want.
And sometimes we've had
miracle.
some of them come 2 to 3 times because there's so many things.
Sure.
So they come in for the PTSD, and then they come back to quit smoking, and then they come back for others. And sometimes I think they're just addicted to Dragonfly, and they just think of reasons to come
Nothing wrong
back.
with getting better.
Because
And
everybody here
do you
gets
find that their wives and their children and there are other family members that oftentimes can be and have been facilitated in the service by coming back in as well?
Yes, they have.
Great.
I love it most when couples come in together
I see.
and heal together.
Yeah. Yeah, because obviously the participants that are getting the shrapnel, no pun intended, from those experiences in the home, they have their own form of PTSD.
They do.
It can be very traumatic because that's a safe environment, not a war environment, right? Why are
It
they
is.
getting attacked in a safe environment?
But it is PTSD to have your husband attack you during the night.
Right, absolutely.
That happens enough times. It is still another form of PTSD.
Yes. And thus we would encourage wives, children, family members, anybody else to come and have the opportunity to be healed, to take care and address these issues and gain the freedom and the life back. Would that say that's a fair statement?
It is.
And not with the founder of 22 Cavalry, I some of the stories he told me in this, I've visited with certain people from the other organizations. It's not just kind of going on a little bit. This is a plague or an epidemic sweeping across the country, and it's not just the layers of those warriors that have been wounded. It continues. So what would you say to them to get them here? What would you say to get them over that hump or past their walls that may stop them, their limiting beliefs? Because we all have them.
Right.
When it comes to, I don't want to fix me, I'm not broken. Well, there's nothing wrong with admitting a problem. Let's get to it. What would you say?
We get a lot of people coming in. My first thing that I say is just come in and look at it and try it. The first visit in here is always free. We do all of that. So we want people to come in and try it, to experience what it is, to learn about it, because I can talk about it all day long, but nothing says what it is until you
Do it.
go in and you just try it. And once people get in and try it and they understand it, and it's always a different experience for everyone that comes out of there. But it works, but there's no words to describe what it's like. They just need to come in and try it. We offer it. That's why we offer it free.
Right. I love that. I love that. And I came with my son. We got in the oxygen chamber, and he was having major issues from wrestling for some injuries he had. And we had tried a dozen other things. Several doctors, no discredit to them, they helped. Massage therapy. We had a chiropractor adjust him, and it was the theta bed that loosened up his neck and his muscles.
Oh, it's the hyperbaric.
Yeah, I'm sorry, the hyperbaric bed. It was. And it took longer than I anticipated because we're so used to treating symptoms instead of fixing the problem. It took a couple times, but I came in with him a couple times, and it has not come back, Linda. That's the thing I almost have a hard time believing is it's not a symptom that it fixes. It actually fixes the issue.
Yeah, I believe in finding the core of the problem.
Right. And he's excited to come back next time I can get him in here between, testing and everything. Is there anything else that you would like people to know about the Dragonfly? Anything else? May I have other
Just
questions?
that it works.
It does work. I know
It works. It's new technology. It's cutting edge technology. And come in and try it. It's free to try the first one.
Thank you so much. Thank you.